Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well this bright and early Monday morning here where I'm at. It's almost 4 o'clock, and I'm up preparing for my week. I thought it would be kind of cool to come on and see who's up and share some of the stuff that I do with preparing for a week. Some of you may know I do this full time. I'm a full time musician and educator and all of that good stuff. But a lot of times, what you guys don't see is the preparation, the early morning situations, how I go back and review what I did last week and what I did Sunday morning. Things that I played on Sunday morning, the stuff that I liked, stuff that I didn't like about the service, the live service. I think, especially this past Sunday, I went back and reviewed the live stream that I recorded, and I deleted it because I am doing trial and error when it comes to my live stream from the church, and I really want you guys to really get a really good idea of what I use, how I go about it. But I also want it to be a pleasant experience when it comes to hearing what's going on. And most of what I've been doing and the way I've been running my live stream from the church is not, the mix has not been good as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't really reflect a good vision of what's actually going on. So today I plan on going out to the church sometime this morning and probably spend probably about 4 hours out there at the church. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rewire all of my board and rewire all the stuff that I have out there, everything that I have set up, my pedal board, and just go through everything and listen and to see exactly what you guys are hearing. I was up kind of looking at some YouTube clips on how to run my mix because I'm coming out of a DP48 into a Roland GoPro Mixer X, something like that. And I'm not getting really good sound. I'm not getting it stereo. And I want it to be stereo because that's what I hear in my ears. I also was listening to it from the mix from the DP48, thinking that I was getting what was going out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start listening, having my in-ears, and I have to get an extension from the GoPro if I use the GoPro mixer, or go directly out of the DP48 in-ear mixer that I have into my computer so you guys can get a realistic sound, because I have not been real happy. You know, some people are saying it's good, but I listened to it last night, and my mix, because there's two different things that's going on. One, the church has a YouTube channel and they have a stream mix. Then I have my personal mix, and I have my camera and stuff set up. And I need you guys input. You know, on Sunday morning, I want you guys to go in, and I'm watching my comments because I need to see what you guys are saying. What are you thinking? What are you hearing? If the mix is not good, say, hey, listen, it's distorted, or the guitar is too loud. I don't hear no drums. Like this Sunday, I didn't hear any drums in the mix. I want to be able to hear, hey, Rashid, good to see you. I want to be able to hear the entire mix. I want to hear everything. I don't want to just hear guitar. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys want the guitar on top, and I'll put it a little on top, but I want a complete mix so you guys can hear exactly the way it should sound. Because I've listened to different musicians' live stream mix coming from their headphone or wherever their mix where they're mixing from, and it's a lot better. And I'm a snob, man. I'm a tone snob. If anybody who really knows, I just like I cringe when I hear bad sounds. So I got a bunch of things. I got a bunch of cables and stuff that I'm going to try to use, and I ordered a bunch of different things so I can wire this thing the way that I need it to be wired, so you guys can get a really good representation. I'm also going to take, I think I'm going to take another camera because I have one, no, I have one camera facing the band and part of the congregation. Then I have a camera that's I'm using for my laptop that's pointing at me. So what I may do is try to do like a split screen, showing more of what's going on, more of the band, more of the church, more of myself together. And I actually have a switcher. Some of the stuff that you guys can see, I wanted to share. I have a switcher that I can actually connect to go to different cameras. And all I have to do is like push this button and boom, it'll go to another camera, come back to me or whatever. And I have a foot switch that I can use as well to do the same thing. So I may try to take my Stream Deck in here. This is by Elgato. And like a lot of times, even here, you guys may see me go from my fretboard or from my whole picture, like this picture, to a fretboard. What I'm using is a foot switch that will switch to different cameras, give different camera views. And I don't have to really use this, so I just use my feet to switch to the different camera, whichever camera view that I want. So if you guys are doing some kind of streaming stuff, and I know some of this stuff may not be up your alley, but if it's something that you're looking to do and you really want a professional type view, and people to really engage in what you're doing, grab something like this or grab a foot switch. Elgato makes a lot of great stuff where you can use that stuff to go ahead and stream your videos. But like I said in the description, I'm just going back and looking at what I liked, what I didn't like, the whole entire week, and then also to prepare for what I have going on this week. Of course, I do private lessons. I teach private lessons. I do a lot of content I share on social media. I play for my church full time. And I'm doing a boot camp. I have a boot camp starting Saturday for beginner guitar players and intermediate advanced players who are interested in learning more about this gospel guitar. But and sometimes I feel like when I do these boot camps and people see the word gospel in front of it, they think it's just gospel. But actually, my foundation is gospel. I'm a true living believer, but what I teach crosses all barriers because I do a lot of work in a lot of different areas. So when I say gospel guitar, that doesn't mean it's just, it's just something that you play in church. You can play it at any place or any situation you may be in, any genre. And if you notice, a lot of especially R&B artists, they go after gospel-based guitar players because there's a versatility and there's a discipline, a tone, a feel that those artists like to hear. And a lot of the R&B artists came out of church, so they want that feel, but it's a different genre. So what I teach in my boot camp, it'll go either way. You can play it anywhere, you can play it anywhere. I work with a lot of different artists. I do a lot of recording for different people. A lot of times you may not even know that it's me playing guitar because I don't advertise everything that I do, but sometimes it's like soundtracks or, commercials or stuff like that. You hear different guitar parts and I know it's stuff that I played on with for different people, producers and all of that good stuff. My son is even a director and writer. I hadn't done anything on his stuff yet, but hopefully that'll come real soon. Yeah. But this is how I start my day. So right now it's like 4:10 in the morning. Get up in here, start planning, going through stuff. I know that I'm going to do an announcement this week about the summit. A lot of people have been asking about the International Musician Summit. This week, either today or tomorrow, I will be making an announcement exactly what I'm going to do with that, how I'm going to move with that this year. A couple of things need to happen in order for me to really be happy with it happening, and I'll discuss that sometime later this week. So I'm looking forward to that happening, but we have to make sure that all the ducks are lined up. All the ducks are lined up. So, all right, first thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to go out to the church. I gotta go out to the church. That's important to me for so many reasons. Because I'm using my Fractal FM9, but when I use the Fractal FM9 and I go into my overdrive, it's not giving me the tones that I want. So if you notice, I don't even use the overdrive when I'm playing on Sunday morning. And it's only because I'm not getting the tones that I want. So when I get out there, I'm gonna check that stuff because it's really tricky. I can come in here and run everything through my interface and everything, and it works well. But if you go into a real live situation and you're playing live, and you want these things to resonate the way you hear it here or in your head, you have to make sure that everything lines up. So that's be one of the first things that I'm going to do. Also, I have some cables and stuff that I need to run. It has this dongle that I run to my computer as well when I'm streaming. I'm going to take this out there. I have one out there already, but I'm going to take this one out here. It has a few more inputs that I could use. So I use that to run into my computer. And it's this short TRS, tip ring sleeve cable. Because what I want to do, hey, what's going on? Good to see you this morning. You guys are up early. What I like to do and what you have to understand, it sounded good. Yeah, I get it. But you know what? I can make it better, Warren. I promise I can make it so much better. I can. I'm a stickler for real. So I ended up deleting it. I still have it downloaded, so I can take portions of it and do clips and use clips like during the week, because that's what I do. I like to take like a portion of the service and something that I've been teaching that I want to share with you guys. I can show you the real-time application by taking a clip, cropping it down and edit it and posting that so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But see, like when I'm running out of my monitor, my ears, the DP48, I run into that GoPro Roland, but I want my sound to be stereo. So in order to have that stereo sound, I have to have the TSR cable. And if you notice, some of you guys may not know. I'm working this. Oh, okay, cool. If you notice, this has two rings. And this will allow me to do the stereo using this cable. So what I'll do is I'll come out of the DP48, maybe go into the Roland, right, and then into my computer. But what I may try to do also is go directly from the DP48 directly into the computer and see how that works. Because it has, a computer, on the Roland, it has a stereo input. So when it comes out, it should be stereo. But if not, I'm going to go directly from the DP48, where I can control my mix as well, directly into my computer. And that's where I'll be able to hear in real time exactly what you guys are hearing. Because I know a few Sundays I was listening, and man, it was like so distorted, and my guitar was so loud. It was so loud over everything, and that's something that I hate. I hate my guitar being over everything. I think everybody should be heard at a good level. So what I want to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to take, I will take my phone and kind of, use my phone as a reference by running something that's playing from YouTube into the stream and hearing what exactly what you guys are hearing. What I'll do is I'll do like a recording. I won't go live, or maybe I will come on and do a test from YouTube, so some of you guys can tell me, say, well, yeah, that's good. No, that's not good. Oh, that's distorted or whatever. But I won't be able to do a real test until like Thursday. Um, Thursday, that's when the whole band will be there. But for now, I just need to get in there early, man, because I take what I do at the church as serious as that what I do at any situation. If I'm playing at a venue that seats 50,000 people, me and my setup at church is as important. It's more important to me, honestly, than what I do in some of these venues because, number one thing, because I'm a believer. I'm a believer. And I honor God first, right? It's not just a slogan, it's the real thing. So I honor God first, and that's more important to me. But then when I go out to these other venues and I do these different concerts and whatnot, they are great, but you have to remember that stuff is temporary. You're only there for that particular concert and then you're going. Or if you go out on tour, and it's great going out on tour, but you have to remember that's weekly or monthly, that's a 6 months tour situation, and then, well, not even 6 months because most artists don't tour 6 months like that, unless it's quartet tour year round. But on like the different artists, they'll do 3 months or 4 months or whatever. And if it's a major tour, it's like maybe 6 months, and then you're back home. And then whatever that artist feel like they want to do, you're left wide open without anything to do until somebody calls you again. So it's best to really be prepared and do other things. I'm not saying doing things outside of your music. Because a lot of times I hear people say, "Well, get a real job. Get a real job." This is a real job because I'm up now 4 o'clock in the morning preparing for my week. I'm up doing this preparing my situations, whatever I got going on. So I'm going out to the church. Going to spend probably about 4 hours because I got to wrap up cables and because I don't like spaghetti. If you look at my pedal boards, if I even my analog stomp boxes, my cables are so organized because I hate garbage. But my desk right now is a mess. It's a real mess. I got stuff all over the place. Um, and because I'm trying to prepare and seeing what I'm going to take out there. I have my little book bag here with a bunch of stuff in it. See, I keep all this stuff, man. I keep in here, preparing for what I have to do and what I like to use. But if anybody's on here, I think there's only like maybe 7, 8 people on here. If you have a question or something, write it in the chat there. I'd be more than happy to answer it. We had that workshop. I had the workshop Saturday, and we had a bunch of beginner guitar players in there, and it was really good. I really enjoyed sharing with everyone. A lot of great information was shared, and I learned from them as much as they learned from me. Because one thing, when you become a musician and you've been doing this thing for a lot of years, what happens is you start to forget what you did as a beginning or a beginner, or how you came up as a beginner. And then as an educator, you think people already know certain things. And that's what I'm working on now. So being in those classes, in the beginner classes or teaching a beginner class and talking, and I'm really interactive in my classes. I'm talking to everybody. So I'm super interactive. And when they talk to me, I learn so much from them. Say, oh, Kevin, you have to remember where they are. You have to remember where they are. And I encourage anyone who watched this, that's an educator, a music educator, you teaching on teaching on social media. Don't forget the beginners. Don't forget that you started at a beginner stage too. You didn't come out playing all the crazy stuff that you're playing now. So let's not forget about the beginners. Let's remember them and remember how to go back and teach them from where they are moving forward. And that's my challenge, and that's my goal, is to be able to teach my beginners and absolute beginner guitar players without talking over their head and not talking down to them and making them feel insecure about where they are. Because like I said, I started there, and I was in situations where I was just like, man, I would cry. I would be sitting in a rehearsal and tears running out of my eyes. And I got into one situation where I was so afraid that I was frozen. I sat in the rehearsal and they kept saying, just play it, Kevin. Just play it. Just try it. And I was so afraid because the guitar player that was there, and this was in New York, the guitar player that was sharing and helping me was the guitar player for Isaac Hayes. And knowing and hearing him play, I felt so inferior to that player that I didn't even want, I was too ashamed to play in front of him. So I wouldn't even play. I just sat there and tears just ran down my face. And everybody was really encouraging. I can remember to this day, I can actually feel it right now. The feeling that I had at that point, I can feel it right now in my soul, because it was so hurtful, and I was so afraid. I promise you, I was so afraid, man. And then people were talking about me. What's up, PJ? I'm up early. I was so afraid to play. And people, like I said, people were talking about me, saying that guy will never, ever, 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 ever be a good guitar player. He's never going, he'll never learn this stuff. They call me like a Fifi and a local guitar player and all of that stuff. And they were so hard. In New York, people were hard. Listen, it was rough. They were so rough. They were so cruel. That's why people say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's a true statement. If you can make it in New York, it's my orange juice, y'all. If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, because they were so treacherous to me. So treacherous. And I tell the story a lot of times in my class. At one point, I had a group who asked me to play guitar for them. They asked me to play guitar, and I was excited. I think I was young, real young. Can't remember how old I was, but they asked me to play. They asked me to come to their rehearsal. I went to their rehearsal. They had a beautiful guitar. They had I actually have one of the guitars that I played back then. Beautiful guitar. The guys were so nice. We got in rehearsal. They started going over the songs, and I thought I was doing pretty good. So I was so young, I wasn't driving in, so they had to drop me off. They would pick me up and drop me off, and they told me, Kevin, we'll pick you up on Tuesday. Next rehearsal's on Tuesday. I said, okay, cool. I'm so excited to tell my parents. I'm going to be playing with this group. I'm not going to call their names because I think they're still existing. Probably new members, but so that Tuesday came. I am sitting on my porch at my parents' house, at the house, and I'm waiting. Time is going. I'm in there early. I have my guitar case. And my guitar sitting right by me, and all my friends are saying, "What are you doing?" I'm going to rehearsal, going to Queens, working with this group, going to Queens, working with this group, going to Queens. Everybody asks me, "What are you doing, Kevin?" Going to Queens, working with this group. So 6 o'clock comes. Nobody called. Nobody picked me up. 7 o'clock comes. I'm sitting in the same space. My friends, my neighbors are seeing me sitting there, still sitting there. 8 o'clock comes. Nobody comes to get me. My mom comes out and says, Kevin, you go ahead and put your stuff up because I don't think they're coming. I was so hurt because I was so excited about playing for the group and playing that particular guitar. I was just so blown away, and I was hurt. They never did come back and get me, and they weren't kind enough to say you're not good enough. They didn't even say that. They just didn't come and get me. But life has a way of doing a big old circle. Life has a way of doing that big circle. Because years later, I worked out my issues and I was able to learn guitar pretty good. And I ended up working with a major artist. And I actually had moved out of New York. I moved to North Carolina. And we had a concert. So funny. We had a concert in New York. The concert was in New York. It was actually at Madison Square Garden. We were performing at Madison Square Garden. And so I'm sitting on a tour bus looking out of the window because I'm in awe of the same full circle of me playing or trying to play with area artists. And I'm sitting on a tour bus, a major tour bus, in the front of Madison Square Garden. And I see the guys from the group that never came back to pick me up. I said, oh my God. I seen them walking towards the ticket booth to buy tickets for the concert. I jump off the bus. I tell the tour manager, say, I need at least 10 comp tickets. He said, for real? I said, yeah, because I don't ever ask for comp tickets. But I told him that this time, I said, I need at least 10 comp tickets and I need VIP backstage passes. And I grabbed those, ran out there. They didn't recognize who I was at first. And I said, y'all may not remember me, but you guys inspired me to become a better guitar player. I said, what? I said, yeah, I'm playing with this artist, and I want to be a blessing to you, each of you. You don't have to buy a ticket. I have tickets here for you, and I also have backstage VIP passes so you can come backstage after the concert is over and meet the artist. And they tripped out. They absolutely lost it. They lost it. They could not believe it. But all I could do is I said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to see this day where I'm able to be a blessing. Because I could have said, man, I'm never going to do this. I'm never, ever going to, if I ever see them, I'm going to rub it in their face. Nah. That's not the way you do that. That's not it. That's not what you do. You bless those people because they inspired me to go into my house, lock myself in the room, listen to every record, every guitar player, every line, everything. And back then I wasn't playing theory. I just had a really good ear where I was able to hear things. That I worked on that. I promise I did, because I listened to everybody. Because one person, Charles Cook, he passed away. He really invested into my music life and life period. He said, listen to everybody. He said, learn from everybody. Go to every concert. And he would take me to all the concerts. Would make me sit on the front row and watch every guitar player. Then he would take me to his house, and they had a room. It was just him and his wife in his house. They lived in Roosevelt, New York. And I had a room with a record player, because we was records then. And I would sit there after, school, and because he would pick me up from football practice. I was playing football too. He picked me up from football practice. I go to his house. I would study. He would sit with me in his kitchen. He would sing, and I would play. Then he would take me back home. I get home, do my homework and stuff, and back up ready for school. And then it was a cycle that I just stuck with it. And God just opened my mind and my ears and my hands. He touched my hands and allowed me to do this thing, man. It just tripped me out, because I was able to see, and I was able to work with all of those records that I was listening to, all of those artists that I was hearing on the record. I was one day standing behind that particular artist playing guitar. And I don't care what album it was. If it was like somebody like Shirley Caesar, if it was something like the Mighty Clouds of Joy, if it was like the Swanee Quintet, or any of those artists, I was able, the Blind Boys, Alabama, I was able to stand behind these major artists and so many more, and play. And sometimes I would be standing on stage and I would be in awe, like, oh my goodness. But then God said to me, he says, I gave you a gift, and now you're sharing it. And now you're sharing it. I want you to share it with the world. But sometimes when people think you get a gift, when they say share it with the world, that means travel the world. Did I travel the world? Yes, I went everywhere. I went everywhere you could imagine. There's not a state in the United States. Most countries I visited and performed at. But sometimes that means doing what I'm doing right now, because I can sit behind this desk with this microphone and my instrument and share with the world without leaving my home. Y'all hear, I see, this is unscripted, so y'all gonna hear my phone ring, y'all gonna hear these notifications, and it's cool. Because a lot of times when people do stuff like this, you see the glamour. You see the glitz and glamour, but you don't see what happens behind the scene. You don't see that I get phone calls at 5 o'clock in the morning. People asking me what kind of strings I use, kind of stuff like that. But yeah, what I'm saying is like, being able to sit here and share my gift with so many, it's truly a blessing to me. I wish more people was part of this, what I'm doing. It's coming. It's coming. I have no doubt that it's coming. Because I think what I share foundational. It's not like anything that other folks are sharing, especially when it comes to the gospel music. Good morning, Dr. Robert. But yeah, this kind of stuff. And I really wanted to come on early because like I have people in Africa and Switzerland and the UK and all of those places, and it's a time difference. So I want to be mindful of them, and if they want to come on and they want to ask me questions, I'm here. Like I said, I'm going to be doing some stuff. I'm going to be on here for a minute, and I'm going to be doing some stuff preparing for my week, like checking my emails and all of that stuff, and, and making sure that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. Because believe it or not, this engine is not running by itself. I actually have a team that works with me, some amazing people, and we have a lot of stuff that's going on. And they send me emails, and I'm horrible about checking my email. I am. All right. Let's see. I'm just looking at some of the stuff. I'm right here now, looking at my email. Let's see what's going on. Let's see who's saying what. But if you guys have a question for me, hit me up. I don't want to do that. Let's see. Let's do this. Another one. All right. There we go. Let's see. You want to know how international musicians started? That's a great question, Pat. Oh, God bless you, sir. How did the summer start? That chokes me up, PJ. That chokes me up. I was blessed to be able to play with a group called Slim and the Supreme Angels, Milwaukee. When I got to the Supreme Angels and how I got hired, um, Sugar Hightower had quit. He had quit the group. And I had a friend that was playing bass guitar by the name of Kevin Cloud from New York. Me, Kevin Cloud, Joey Williams, a bunch of us came up together. So I went to a concert in Wilson, North Carolina, because I was living in Wilmington, North Carolina. I went to a concert. It might have been Rocky Mount. Either Rocky Mountain was. It was an outdoor ballpark concert. All the groups was there. All the major groups was there. And I seen Kevin, and Kevin asked me, "Oh, no problem, no problem." Kevin asked me, he said, "What you doing?" Because he knew me from New York. I said, "I'm just here. I'm just enjoying, enjoying I want to enjoy the concert." I was actually online to buy a ticket. I was online to buy a ticket for the concert. And he said, "Man, get out of line. Come with me." And then when we was walking across, because he told whoever, said he's with me. And we was walking across the field, and I'm seeing all of these tour buses. I'm tripping. I said, "Oh my God, there's the Supreme Angels. There's the Swanee Quintet. There's the Brooklyn All-Stars. There's the Willie Banks and the Messages van. There's the Singing Stars van, and different people's buses and stuff." So I'm like, "Oh my God," I'm tripping in my mind. And we're walking towards the Supreme Angels bus. We walk on the bus, and he says, "Howard, this is my friend from New York, Kevin Wilson. He plays guitar, and he can play Sugar Hightower parts." And I'm saying, did he just say what I thought he said? And Slim is a slim, probably 6'7", 6'5", 6'7", something like that. Long black hair. Some people call him Black Jesus. He's sitting on the bus, sitting in the front seat, propped up. And he looks me up and down, up and down. He said, "Can you play?" I said, "Yes, sir, I can play." And not only is he sitting there, but Greg Kelly is sitting on one seat. Al Dent is sitting on another seat. That's the other guitar player. And I think one other person was sitting on the bus. So he says, "You have your guitar?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Al, you and Kevin take him out there and y'all see what he can do." He said, "Ask me, you got your guitar?" I said, "Yes." So I grabbed my guitar. I'm sweating bullets. I'm going to get to your point, PJ. I'm sweating bullets because I'm supposed to be able to play the legendary guitar player, Sugar Hightower. I mean, he is one of the greatest guitar players, even outside of gospel. And I'm going to share an interview that I did with Sugar, talking about how he was 15 years old playing guitar at the Apollo Theater. He was part of the Apollo band. And I'm going to share that interview with you guys shortly. My wife reminded me about that. So I get my guitar and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? And my hands are shaking. So at these events, before the concert starts, everybody's just around. You got all these musicians, you got all these amps and all of this stuff up there, right? So we get on stage. We get on stage with just me, Kevin Cloud, the bass player, and Al Dent. And Al Dent is, his look, he's from Savannah, Georgia, and his look will intimidate you. But he's one of the baddest guitar players you ever want to hear. A lot of people don't know about Al, but Al was the stuff, man. Him and Sugar together was untouchable. So we get on stage, and I think at that time, they had just released the album Make a Change. And that song has a intro where Sugar is playing a line. And he starts it all off, And so they said, okay, Kevin said, "Let's do this." He counted off and said, play it low. We don't want a lot of people hearing. So they get down, 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 down. And then I have to play the part. And so I played the part. I was pretty close. So Al was cutting his eye at me. So he said, "Okay, let's do such and such." They did another song. And that Sugar had a really prevalent part in the song. So I played that. And we did one more. And then they said, "Okay." We walked back to the Supreme Angels bus and get up on the bus. And Reverend Hunt, he wasn't a pastor or reverend then, but he says, he says, "Al, what you think?" And he said, Al said, "Your boy can play." He said it just like that. He said, "The boy can play." So he said, "Do you want to sit in with us today?" I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." I'm out of my mind. I'm totally out of my mind. Because I'm looking out in the stands now, and the stands are full. We at a stadium, okay? We at a ballpark, and the stands is full. And everybody's looking for Sugar Hightower because Sugar is the stuff. He's playing all of the ear candy stuff. And he's not there. And it's just me, Al. Freddie Berry was playing drums. Or it might have been Papa Hightower, was Sugar's brother, was playing drums. And I think we had somebody playing organ. And they called the Supreme Angels up. And we start doing their material. And it's so scary because Slim, if you notice Slim, when he's singing, or if he's not singing, if Scotty was singing, he would stand right by the guitar player's amp. Why? Because Slim was a guitar player too. Excuse me. He wasn't just a singer. He was a guitar player too. So he wanted to hear what you were playing. So he was standing by my amp when I was playing. And every now and then he kind of looked down. He wouldn't say anything. And then they did Make a Change. And I played the line, and he called me and said, "Son, play it, squeeze it." And I said, "Oh shoot, I'm tripping. Oh shoot, it's my time." And that was crazy. So we went through the concert, and he kind of smiled, and we got on the back on the bus after we finished, and he said, "You think you want to be a part of the group?" I said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." So he said, "Okay, next week we're gonna have rehearsal. We'll come through rehearsal because they rehearsal. The band is from Milwaukee, but they were based out of Goldsboro, North Carolina. So I was living in Wilmington, so I would have to come from Wilmington to Goldsboro. Came and did the rehearsal and stuff. So I started playing with Supreme Angels. Anyway, fast forward. Sugar Hightower comes back. It's me, Sugar Hightower, and Al Dent playing guitar. They didn't really need 3 guitar players. They kept me because Slim didn't want to fire me because I was a nice kid. That was basically it. It wasn't that I was playing a role that really was needed in the group. It was not needed. The role was not needed. They didn't need 3 guitar players. They actually could have did it with 1 guitar because eventually they did go to just 1 guitar player. So I became associates with Sugar and Al because one thing is they're funny people. They were funny guys, man. They were real picky, real picky. So I would learn from Sugar, but we didn't really become real tight until I left the Supreme Angels. And we became really, really good. And this is going to your point, PJ. We became really, really good friends. We became where I used to call on him, or I would go to a concert and we just sit up and talk. We became really tight. Moving forward, Sugar got cancer. He got sick. And Quartet, there's not a health plan. There's not health. Guys didn't have health plans, insurance, and medical insurance, and all of that stuff. So he was dealing with his illness, and I said, with all that he's done for our community musically, we need to support him. We need to rally behind him. So I called Jonathan Dubose. I called Eric Walls. I called all the guitar cats. I called Luther Barnes. I called a bunch of different groups. I said, listen, I want to do a benefit concert to raise funds for Sugar Hightower. And maybe later today, I'll post a picture of that concert or a flyer or something so you guys can see. So we went in, we did this benefit concert for Sugar. We had probably about 1,500 people there. We raised a bunch of money. We was able to be a blessing to him. We was able to give him that money so we could help with his offset some of the cost of what he was getting, or his bills. So what happened was, and I should say what had happened was, everybody loved the situation of all of us coming together, sharing information. So I'm not sure who asked me, but somebody called me and said, man, we should do that again. It might have been Joey Williams or somebody. We should do that again. It doesn't have to be like a benefit concert. It could just be us getting together and sharing information. I said, okay, let's try it. If everybody's in it, I'm in it too. Let's go for it. I talked to a local music store owner, Eddie Berman. I said, Eddie, man, we're about to do this such and such. And I didn't want to do it at the church. I wanted to kind of do it in a smaller venue because I didn't think it would be that many people interested in coming. So what I did was I said, Eddie, I'm doing this little event. I'm going to call it the Guitar Summit. And, I'm looking for a place to have it. Do you know any place? He said, yes, you can have it right here. He removed all the gear around, and he puts chairs in, and we brought in a bunch of people, and we had the first Guitar Summit. I think Tyrone Jackson was there. Eric Walls was there. Happy Guitar was there. Just a few guitar players. We had a great time. And it snowballed, PJ. It snowballed from being where we had Tyrone, Eric, and those guys, and Happy, to the point. And I was talking to someone yesterday, my sound guy. He's a bass player too. We had end up having some of the best guitar players and musicians in the entire world to come through and be a part of the summit. And it's been a blessing because from the summit, it became a bridge for musicians to connect with other situations. I've seen musicians come in there and go from playing with no one to working with, the top artists in the world, seeing them on major stages because of their connection. I seen where Andy Woods was part of the summit one year, and when I had him and Travis Toy play together, and Travis plays pedal steel for Rascal Flatts. So he connected, Andy and Travis connected, and Andy ended up playing with Rascal Flatts. So it just snowballed. And I just love the connection. Has it been financially a blessing? Nope. Just being honest. It's been a crazy budget, an amazing, huge budget. We don't have sponsors like that. And it's been a situation where I had to carry the load. But it was a vision of mine. So when you have a vision, you have to carry the load. So it's been tough. Been some years that I was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm never, ever doing this again. But then I get a phone call with someone saying, hey, this summit has done this for me. This summit has saved me from this. It took me out of the streets. Their testimonies it's just been amazing. The testimony from what the summit has been to so many different people. I can tell you different situations. And I've done some stuff. I've done some stuff to help people outside of the norm. Will they tell it? No. Will I tell it? No. The summit have seen people from being on the street. I'm telling you. This event has been a lot for a lot of people. So, I thank God for it. I thank God for the connection that I've made through the summit. And I pray that it continues on. But the summit can't continue without everybody's support. Like I said, I don't have major sponsors and, people knocking down the doors to be a part of this or say, okay, we're going to invest $100,000 so, you don't have to worry about the budget. And when I say we've had budgets, huge budgets, when you have a Sheila E., Eric Gales, Paul Jackson Jr., Michael Rapole, Guthrie Trapp, Tom Quayle, and just so many more, Spud, Justin Raines, K-Bass, Mono Neon, Chris Coleman, Jeremy Haynes, Kevin Bond, Cornell Gaston, Tasha Cobb's husband. We've had everybody. Tasha Cobb was there. We've had some of everybody to come through the summit. Everybody. And it's not cheap. But I believe in the vision and it's helping. Just like what I do now. If it's going to help someone, I'm going to do it. Sorry for being so long, PJ. But I wanted you to kind of get the gist of it. Yeah. So that's where the summit started, and that's where we are with it. Anybody else have any questions? Nothing like some cold orange juice in the morning. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing, man. I'm telling you. And what I do, like I said, it's a gift. And when you get a gift, you love to share it. I mean, really. How many times have you gotten a gift? You want to share it. You want everybody to see it. And that's my thing with the gift that I've been blessed with. I have these tools that I'm able to share with people. Do I need situations for support? Absolutely. We all need money to live. I have a family. I have a wife. I have children. I have grandchildren. I have a dog, Prince, and he'll be up in a minute because he normally gets up and wakes me up so I can take him out to the bathroom. So we have all this stuff that we have to do in order to and maintain our lives. So that's that. Listen, do any of you guys stream? Thank you for sharing the testimony about the son. Okay. Oh, doctor, I would really appreciate that. If you can do if you do Cash App, you can do Cash App. I'll put something in the that would be great, man. That would be such a blessing. I'll put the Cash App in there, or you can send something via Cash App, sir. Let's see. How was that's the Cash App. If you want to send something via Cash App, that would be a blessing. And I promise you this, and anybody who knows me and been part of the summit, they know anything that comes to the summit goes to the summit. Seriously. So it's not like it's going in my pocket. God has blessed me to do certain things, and my church has been a blessing to me, and my business has been pretty good where we're able to keep a roof over our head. So, and I'm going to keep doing this. The thing about doing stuff like this and having your own business and stuff, you can't do it for the money. You need the money, but you can't do it for the money, because if you do it for the money, it shows up as you doing it just for the money. You have to have a passion for this thing no matter what happens. And everybody asks me, say, well, what's your plan B if this doesn't work? My plan B is my plan A. That's what my plan B is my plan A. And that's what I do. And my plan B is my plan A. I'm a full-time musician. I'm an educator. I play for my church, and I do all of these things. And this is the way that I support my life and my lifestyle. And I'm not ashamed of it. And I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change anything, even the losses, because behind touring, you're going to lose. I had not talked about the ugly side of touring. Thank you, PJ. I'm going to share this because that means a lot. Oh, that's so small. I got to do bigger. Yeah, man. Let me see if I can make this bigger. I'm going to put this over here. I'm a one-man show, man. Let's see, I'll put it over there. See if I can make this bigger. There we go. Let me put it back. Boom. It's smaller. Let me stop while I'm ahead. This is Kevin Meyer. What I admire most about you, you have a spirit of excellence. You represent the kingdom. You always operate with a standard. Thank you for holding up the bar. Thank you. You know what, PJ? I couldn't do this without the support of people like yourself and all these people that's on here at 5 o'clock in the morning, at 5 a.m. Yeah, all the people that's on here at 5 a.m. But yes, that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we do. And my thing is now is bridging the gap. Because if you notice right now, there's a generation that's leaving here. It's leaving, honestly. It's just life. And it's going to happen. But my thing is, Robert, thank you so much. I just seen I just seen what came in. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. Um, if you notice, there is a generation that's leaving here, and we need to bridge that gap before it's gone. And I've seen a lot of great musicians such as Spanky, Dwight Gordon, Sugar Hightower, Al Dent, Sam Williams, and a bunch of great musicians who have passed on. Mr. Howard Carroll, all of these people have left. And if you guys aren't getting the information from the source, it becomes watered down. And the the hard part of what I do, I want you guys to get this. The hard part of what I do is bridging that gap, because what happens is you have to still stay relevant to what's happening now, because there are musicians that are coming out here and they are absolutely killing it. But the problem is, and this is where we losing some of what this is all about, is they're not getting it from the foundation. They're getting it midways from where it came from. If you have, and I'm sure most of you guys have heard, if there's a line of people with a message, if you have 20 people and you start at the first person, and the first person tells the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, all the way to the last person. By the time the information reaches that last person, it's different from the first. And that's what happens in music. It's different if we're not studying from the foundation. So my thing is, and this is hard, to stay relevant enough where people will want to hear me play and keep them interested in teaching them the foundation, but yet making sure that it works for today. That's a lot. That's a mouthful. That's a lot. It's hard. And with all of that, you have to remember the absolute beginner and the beginner guitar player, because a lot of those players need this information, and you can't talk over their head or else you're going to lose them. But you can't be so slow where you'll lose the intermediate advanced player. So that's the thing. That's the seesaw, trying to make it balanced. And sometimes it's hard, because I know sometimes I be teaching things that bore the intermediate and advanced player, because I got that. But remember this: there's always different ways of approaching. Even if you feel like you have it, there's a different way of approaching that may help. Just like I did a video, just like when I did a video on how to play a diminished triad. And I know there was a way that I was doing it that a lot of people didn't really know that way. And sharing that helped a lot. So when did you begin to feel comfortable in your own fretboard, getting to stand alongside a musician? Can only imagine the anxiety. Was there a pivotal moment when you? I think the moment came not so much when I became comfortable with the fretboard, but the moment came when I felt like, okay, you're doing okay. When I started playing for Willie Banks and the Messengers. Because this would happen. I was hired. He already had a guitar player. I had left the Supreme Angels, and I started playing with Willie Banks and the Messengers. I was playing the second guitar player, Greg Flowers was playing the chord stuff, and I was just, I was playing around him. I was playing the little stuff. But what happened? was Greg couldn't make a concert or something, and I had to play the parts. Okay, and when Mr. Banks heard me play, he said, "Your chords sound fuller." He said it's almost like you're filling the room up with what you're playing, and we're not even using a keyboard player. He says, "I want you to play that part." He said, "When Greg comes back, he'll play the other part." I said, "Okay." So I started playing the main parts as the guitar player for the Messengers. And then when I left the Messengers, I started playing with the Keynotes. I was playing with Val Alexander, another great guitar player. And I learned more about chording with him and more about my guitar, because I didn't know theory then, even at that point. Left the Keynotes, started playing with the Mighty Clouds of Joy. Now, playing with the Mighty Clouds of Joy, they were more contemporary style gospel. They were traditional, but they did a lot of more contemporary stuff. Even when we would go overseas, we would do a total different show than we would do in the States. We would do songs, "You Are So Beautiful" and "Wind Beneath My Wings" and all of that stuff. So it came a point where we didn't have PJ. We didn't have a keyboard player. And it was just me, Johnny Valentine was on drums, and Ron Staples was actually playing bass. And we had to do that for almost a year. And if you don't believe me, I want you to ask Paul Porter this, because he came to a show. He came to a show we did in Memphis. We had a concert in Memphis. And we did the concert. After the concert, he came up on stage, and I seen him just looking around, and he was looking in the back, and he said, "Ron," he said, "Man, I heard the keyboard player. Where's the keyboard player at?" There was no keyboard player. It was just me playing guitar. He said, "No," he said, "Kevin." He said, "Kevin was playing all the parts." That's when I said, "Okay, I got this." But then what happened was, what had happened, I started playing outside of the quartet arena. Started moving into different styles of music, right? And it's a different ball game, because you can't remember, because especially in different genres, parts were so important. You had to play the part exactly the way it was written. Oh, cool. You're from Memphis. That's good to know. So playing parts was a big thing in different genres. So if you have, you're doing a concert and you have like a set with 30 songs, right? You don't always you can't remember all of those parts. So what they do is they give you charts. If they give you a chart, that means you have to study some theory. And if you study theory, you have to learn your fretboard. I had to learn my fretboard. I had to learn theory, because I wanted to be in that union, because I did concerts like playing with quartet, doing quartet. We did a TV date and with someone, and their band couldn't play because they weren't part of the union. So we had to play for that particular artist. But anyway, playing outside of just a quartet situation, you had to be able to read charts and understand charts. And then I started playing in church, and they were speaking a language that I did not know. Even the number system in quartet back then isn't the same as the regular number system. You know, it wasn't. Like in quartet, the number system is the 1 is the root, the 4 is the 2, the 5 is the 3, and the 6 was the 4. Okay? So the 1 was the root. The 4 was the 2. The 5 was the 3. And the 6 was the 4. That was quartet numbers. Okay. That was quartet numbers. So going into playing in church and all of that stuff, that was so wrong. And then, like, the band was talking a language. They was like, flat 7 and play a dominant chord here. play the flat 7, play a dominant chord, make this a diminished chord, all of that stuff. And I didn't know. So I had to learn, man. So I had to say, hey, listen, jump in there, learn it, study, go to all of these areas where you can, learn. I started studying with a gentleman out of Chapel Hill. His name was Howard Morgan. You can look him up. He's one of the greatest guitar players in the world. Howard Morgan passed away some years ago. So I started studying with him and several others who understood the language. And I started asking questions. And, what is this? What is that? What chord is that? What are you playing here? What's the name of that chord? And I just started studying. The more I studied, the more I was interested. And the more that my playing opened up. More of my playing opened up. And now I know the language. I know how to approach. I can read these charts. I can read, I understand. And now my fretboard is smaller. Right now, if you look at your fretboard, it's different, Pat. It looks big. It looks long. My fretboard looks short. It looks small. Because I know how to connect everything pretty decently. Am I still growing? Absolutely. Until I leave this earth, I promise, I hope that I have the capacity to learn and continue to learn. I can't remember what year it was. I can't remember the year. I honestly, because it was actually it was a stretch. It was a stretch because I just started learning and learning. The more I learned, and then I really started digging in. But I can't say when. And it really depends on your ability to retain information and your discipline. How disciplined are you? How disciplined are you? Yeah. And that goes to what I'm getting ready to do. And one thing that I'm getting ready to do is lose all of this weight. I got to be disciplined. I got to do better because none of this is going to do any good if my health is not good. And as good as you can feel, carrying this much weight is not good for your body. It's not. And a lot of times, a lot of our great musicians and singers and people and whatnot, well, we leave this earth because we don't take care of our bodies. We abuse our bodies. And me and my wife talked last night. And so we're gonna take my bicycle out of the garage because I have a stationary bike that's in the garage. I'm gonna take it out of the garage and bring it back in the house, and I'm gonna get on the cycle, and I'm gonna be huffing and puffing, huffing and puffing. But I got to get this weight off of me because I feel better. I'm able to do more. I'm able to just to get around more. I'm able to chase my dog more and my grandkids and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to get back on the bike. I'm going to start exercising. Start eating right. Stop eating late at night. Stop eating fried foods and all of that stuff. That's no good for us. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. She started eating apples last night. She was eating apples. I'm not going to tell you what I ate. Yeah. But anyway, I hope that helped, PJ. I hope that helped everybody. I'm still here, and I'm just, kind of gathering things. I'm going to take some of the stuff out of here, see what I'm going to take to the church. I got a guy at our church. His name's Elder George Hyman. He made these cables for me. And these are those cables that when you pull them out, it doesn't make any noise. So I have a bunch of these cables that I like using. So if I pull my guitar, I don't have to worry about any noise. Let's see what else I'm gonna take. Tell you I got a bunch of dongles and these different types of cables. So I'm gonna take this whole bag with me. Whole book bag. I need to take some tie wraps. Tie everything down. Steven! We were just talking about you, Steven. Not on here, but we were talking about you. I hadn't seen you, man. I had not seen you. We starting boot camp Saturday, and I thought you were gonna be my associate teacher. I didn't know if you signed up yet or not, but we're in there Saturday, hard and heavy, and I want you to be there, sir. Great guitar player, Steven. This is a great guitar player. And he was in one of my other boot camps. And I was hoping he would come in this one as well. Hopefully he'd come in. Am I going to use this? Good, great. I'm going to tell the team that you're coming in. I thought about you when I was going live this morning. I said he'll probably be up because I think I'm on your time zone. Because your 6-hour difference is good timing where you are. Yes, sir. Man, Marcus, I've been up. What time did I get on? Before it was like quarter to four this morning. Yeah, been on here for a minute. We've been talking. Take care of yourself. I am a liver trip. Oh, really? God has blessed me 7 years ago and going. God bless you, Dr. Robert. Glad. Yeah, Marcus, we've been on here a minute, man. Just sharing some of the behind the scene things, man. I've been struggling with my live stream at church, and I'm trying to make it better. So I'm going in this morning sometime and straighten up my corner. And I'm working on my live stream sound from the church. I may go live. I don't know if you guys are around. I may go live later this morning to test to see how the sound is. Because what I'm getting, sometimes I'm getting distorted. I'm not getting a real stereo sound coming out. And I want it to be the best sound that we could possibly have, because I want you guys to really enjoy the experience. I want you guys to feel the real experience with the whole band and see how I apply everything. Yeah, Marcus, you signed up for boot camp too, aren't you? Listen, let me tell you something about this boot camp. This boot camp is going to be a lot different from the boot camp I've been teaching. Because the intermediate advanced players, we are going straight in at it. We're not going to do the major scale and how chords are built and all of that stuff. We bypassing all of that stuff. All of that. We're going straight for the jugular. I'm telling you, I'm going to be teaching you all the stuff that you want to learn. I mean, because it's our class. It's our class. I don't have to worry about my beginners because I have a beginner boot camp. I have a beginners boot camp, and they'll be in that class. But the intermediate advanced, we're going straight at it. I'm going to have some tracks that you guys are going to get, and you guys are going to have to play to those tracks, and y'all going to have to use the stuff that we're teaching in the class. And I'm going to make sure that I hear it. You guys are going to perform this stuff, okay? And then I'm going to bring in some of my friends to critique. Now, I'm not going to critique you. I'm going to bring in some of my guitar friends to critique what you guys are doing. So that will tell me if I'm teaching it to you correctly, and that will tell me if you guys are applying it correctly. Boot camp is gonna feel like boot camp. I'm telling you. I was telling my wife. I said I don't think they're ready for this boot camp. Sound like I better prepare my. Yeah, Steven. No joke. No joke. Because if you guys remember, I was doing the balancing act with boot camp last time we've had it. Because I was like, okay, I got to make sure that I don't forget these people. I don't want these people to feel left out. I don't want to do that. But with you guys are if you say you're intermediate and advanced, you're gonna prove it, because we are gonna rock and roll. I'm telling you, I already have in mind, and I'm gonna lay everything out this week. And I'm going to have backing tracks. You guys are going to have backing tracks. You guys are going to have PDFs. You guys are going to have all these handouts and stuff. You're going to have homework, real homework assignments. Okay? So it's not going to be anything like any of the boot camps that I've done in the past. None of them. Yep. It's going to be, PJ, listen. If you say you at it and you there, you should be there, because if not, you might want to be in the other boot camp, because that one I can slow down and I can teach certain things. But if you come into the intermediate advanced boot camp, you already need to know your scales, your major scales, and you need to know how to build chords and all of that stuff already, because that's not what I'm teaching. I'm teaching how to use this stuff in real life situations. Yeah. And this one, for the intermediate advanced players, we're going to have a recital. I'm just letting it out of the bag. You're going to have a recital, and your family is going to be invited to the recital. Your family and your friends. And I've set up my Zoom where I can have at least 500 people. And I'm going to invite everybody. We're going to have a big old recital at the end of boot camp. And you guys will be performing a song. And you're going to be judged on how you play the song. You're going to be judged on you applying everything that's being taught in boot camp. Yeah. So all the ear candy that you guys said that y'all love, we're going to do all of that. But you're going to have to know how to play it too. I think I'm ready. Come on, PJ. Come on up in there, dude. Yes. It's on and popping. This is not for the weak at heart. Nope. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're going to get tracks, and you're going to have to be able to tell me what's what. If I give you a track, you're going to tell me what you're hearing. What this one is playing. Yeah. How it's being built. Moving this song. What's the intro? And you know what? You have to do this without your guitar too. Boot camp. So for those who are interested, I want you there. But it's going to be a boot camp. It's not, I've been real, I'm still going to be nice. But I'm going to hold everybody accountable for some work. When you walk away, you're going to feel like, no, you're going to know that you've learned some stuff. Not that you didn't learn stuff before, but I was limited to doing certain things because I didn't want to talk over certain people. I didn't want to be disrespectful. So now that we have a intermediate advance, let's rumble. Let's go. Yeah, I know. I know that's what most of you guys come to boot camp for. I do. I know when my intermediate advanced players come in, that's what they're looking for. And sometimes I can't do it like that because I have beginners in there, and that's not fair to them. That's not fair. So we created 2 classes. And we have the one for the beginners, and then it's gonna be the man up. It's gonna be the man up. Oh, it's gonna be the man up, Steven. It's going to be the man up. Yeah. So spread the word. Boot camp is in session this Saturday. I think the intermediate advanced starts at 1. Yep. And then the beginners, I think, is at 10, from 10 to 12. We're going to roll. I'm telling you, please, y'all be ready. Y'all be ready. But I'm going to put this in there too. Because I want to take this and see if I can connect it to my computer and use it at the church too. Because I want to take and use another. I want to use another camera. I have some more cameras. I have that camera I can take and use that camera too. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm excited. See, I've been on here an hour and a half. You guys have any questions? Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know I started early this morning. I did it on purpose too because I wanted you guys to see the behind the scenes stuff that I do. Man, if any of you guys stream, I encourage you to use like Ecamm Live, stuff like that, because it helps with your streaming. You can use your interface. Like most of the time when you guys hear me play, it's like I'm sitting in a room with you because I'm using an Apollo. I'm using my Fractal Axe-Fx rack unit and all of these things to help make your experience that much better. If you are streaming live or you're doing YouTubes and any of that stuff, grab that stuff. So you're at the church streaming from a laptop. My MacBook Pro. I stream from this. My MacBook Pro. Yep. I run from my DP48, which is a in-ear system that I get from the main monitor board, right? So they send us a complete signal. We're able to separate each instrument and mix it to our ears the way we want to hear it. I go out of that because the DP48 PJ has an A and B side. So I can send the B side directly to my Pro Mixer into my computer, or the A side, either one. And that way I can separate and have two different mixes. If I have one for the stream and one for my live that I want to hear differently from the stream, if I want my guitar to be hotter in the A, I could make it hotter in the A and mix it down where it's cool for the live stream that's going out to everyone. So I do that and mix it up like that. I'm using my FM9, Fractal FM9 as a pedal. I'm having a little bit of an issue. It's not the unit itself. It's my setting, because I don't use the overdrive because I'm not getting the tones that I want. And I need to be able to use my overdrive without going to something different. So that's where I am with that. But yeah, that's how I stream. And then I hook up like 2 cameras. I've been using the camera from my computer and the camera I have at the church. So you can see that little window in the corner where you can see the band. I have those 2 cameras, but I'm going to take another camera and bring it to the church, and maybe use that as well, so I can do some switcher things. So I have a pretty big area, so I have some room that I can do some stuff. But then I'm going to clean some stuff up. I'm going to move some stuff around and make the place a little bit more conducive to what I'm doing, because I want to be able to capture the whole church, the whole experience. And the other thing about what I do at church is when I stream at church, I stream up to a point, and then when the pastor starts to speak, I want the message. I want you guys to get the message so you can go to our YouTube channel, our church's YouTube channel, and capture the whole experience. Because what I do mainly is for my students to see the application of what I've been teaching them. That's a big thing. Having tools that you don't know how to use is no good. You no need to have the tool. So what I try to do is I teach something, and then when I come back on Sunday, I try to apply exactly what I've taught. So you can say, so they doing this song, he's doing this. Oh, he's laying out over here, he's leaving space for this. He's not playing all these big chords, he's playing triads because he's playing with a big band, and they are, they're covering these frequencies. So he's playing here in order for him to stand out without being too loud. So all of this stuff is important. But in order for you to get it, it has to be clear. Like when I listened to the live stream that I did yesterday, I actually deleted it off the Facebook because I couldn't hear the drummer. So it defeats its purpose. So that's why I'm going in this morning and making sure I can't do the full mix because it's only going to be me there. But I'll bring something to the church where I'll play through the system. So I'll be able to get a pretty decent idea of how it's going to sound and make sure it's not distorted. Because I think the first time I did it was real distorted. Guitar was real loud, or the bass was real loud, or the drum was real loud, the keys, something, So it's just a matter of getting in there and doing what I need to do to perfect this thing. So I'm serious about it. Yeah, I'm serious about it. Hey, listen, anybody have any questions? Because I'm gonna jump off in a minute. I've been on here an hour and a half. I think I may leave this up if I don't get in trouble, because sometimes I get in trouble with my team by doing different things. But I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys this morning so you guys can kind of see how I prepare for the week. I'm up early, thinking about checking my email, thinking about what I got to do this week. I know I'm going to make an announcement about the summit this week. I know I'm preparing for the boot camps. I'm teaching some private lessons. Do you go through Ecamm for Zoom? I do. I go through Ecamm Live for Zoom and everything, and it allows you to do switching scenes through Ecamm. So when I'm on Zoom and I want to switch to different things, if I want to pull different scenes up, I can do it because I'm in Ecamm. Let's see, like I think I set something up for the school, right? And right now, show scene. So I can go right now. I'm gonna turn this down because it might be a little loud. I can go here, and you could do this too, because I know you and your wife do stuff. I can go right here and click this. This is a guitar pick. And you see it has a pointed end, then has a rounded back. Yep. And then when you want to use it and hold it, you want to use your thumb and your first finger. See, I can do all of this stuff and Ecamm Live, and it's easy, simple. It's simple. Simple. So I use Ecamm Live, and the great thing about Ecamm Live, PJ, is you can do Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the same time. You can do all three at the same time. Like if I wanted to do all three of those platforms right now or this morning, I could have did it and just used Ecamm Live. It's crazy, right? And even everything, really, like this right here. Check this out. I think I was teaching on the graph, fretboard graph. See, stuff like that. And I can take and have this up, sharing this, and teaching at the same time. Open E, B, G, D, A, and E, first fret, all the way to the 5th fret, and I can make it to the 12th fret. Whatever I wanted to do, I can use these things to teach with. So it's great teaching tool, great for streaming and all that good stuff. And then the sound quality is great. It's great. It's good. Real good. So listen, say one problem. I use Windows. You can use Windows. You can use Windows. It's not a problem. You can use Windows. It will allow you to, Ecamm, you could use Windows. Yeah, whatever you use, make it to do the best you can do with it. All right, y'all, I'm jumping off. Thanks for hanging out. Come back maybe later on today, and I'll be at the church. All right, peace.